Okay, Excel module number 8. Okay, in this chapter, we will learn about what-if analysis. So this one has 3 types: what-if analysis, using by creating one variable data table and 2 variable data table. Okay, the second part is what-if scenario, and then the third one is using solver. So mainly we will learn 3 things in this section, in this module. So let's go over this practice review assignment. Okay, now rename 8-2. Rename, okay, open the file and then rename it as bikes underscore bikes. Okay, and then enter your, replace this with your name and today's date. Okay, and number 3, income statement worksheet. Okay, in this case, there are a bunch of empty spaces like this. So we will fill out this by using what if analysis. Okay, in the range D5 to G5, D5 to G5, enter formula that references unit source. Okay, so this one is the unit source, so equal sign B5. Okay, tab key, and then E5, B5, and then E5 revenue, expense, net income values from B25 to B26. So that is B25 equals B25 total revenue, and then this is B25, tab key, expense is equal to total expense B26, tab key, and net income is equals to, that should be equal to B27. Okay, number 4. So we just assigned each cell based on the title. Okay, number 4, in the range D6 to D13. D6 to D13. Okay, in this case, we will insert some numbers starting from 250 all the way up to 2000 and 250 unit increment. So next one will be 500. So we want to do this one. So select these 2, and then we will use autofill. So bring it all the way down until you can see 2000. Okay, so that is up all the way up to D13. Okay, D13. So we just filled in the number of units like this. Okay, number 5, create a 1 variable data table in the range D5 to G13 with cell B5. Cell B5 as a column input cell. Okay, B5 is a unit source. Okay, unit source. So the numbers in the first column represent the number of units sold. And on the right side, this right side are the values for revenue, expenses, and net income. So we have these 3 values based on this number, 1,200 units. But we want these numbers for each number of units sold in each row. So 250, 500, and 750. So we will use one variable data table so that you will automatically fill in all this information. So click the data tab, and then we are learning what if analysis. So in the what if analysis arrow, select select data table. Select data table. So there are two variables, x and y. So in this case, we have input values in the column. So these columns are input values. So select the second part here. So the column input cell are all of this, and this one is based on the cell address B5. So click B5. So the column input cell will be B5. Okay, B5 is the number of units sold. Okay, and then click OK. So it automatically fills all this information. Okay, so this one is equal to what? B5, right? This value comes from B5. And then this value comes from what? Okay, this revenue comes from this format. Okay, this format comes from here. And this value comes from these two cells. Make sense? So this one comes from here, and this one comes from here, and this value comes from these two. And one of these two contains unit sold. Okay, so this unit sold is this one. So actually the format of each row is same as the format of this one. So this rows actually copying the format of this. Okay, so this row is using the number of units of this number, and this row is using this number because these are B5. Okay, so that is about one variable data values. Okay, number 6. Okay, cost per profit D4. Okay, number 6 is creating a chart using this data. So we will select D4 to F13. Alright, and then create a chart. So click the Insert tab, Chart. Okay, actually we are creating a scatter with straight line chart. So click this scatter. And let's select this one. So this is scatter with straight line. Okay, select this one. And then resize it. So this one goes to D14. And then G27. Okay, like this. And then change the chart title. So click the chart title and then type CVP analysis. Okay, number 7. Copy the unit sold from the range D6 to D13. So copy this one. So Control C, and then click on the I6, cell I6, and then Control V. So we just copy this data. And then J5 to N5. Okay, J5 is this one. Enter the sales price from 800, tab key. Okay, let me scroll this to the right. And then 900, 1000, 1100, 1200. Okay, so these are the number of units sold, and these are the sale price, per unit. Okay, so this time we will use two values, two data values, like this. So actually these two data values are in where? In these two. Okay, enter the formula I5. Okay, I5. Okay, the formula is that references the net income. So that is in B27. B27 is net income. So in I5, so make it equal sign. So I5 is equal to B27. Click B27, enter. So actually I5 is the value of B27, the net income. And then all this information, all these cells will be replaced by the net income. And this net income comes from the number of units and the sale price per unit. Okay, so this value, so the value in this cell will be using two values. They are 250 number of units and then $800. These two. Okay, and this cell is the value of net income using $500 and $900. Okay. All right, and then click I5. Okay, format the value in cell I5 to display the text units sold rather than the income value. So we will change the format of this cell so that this will display only units sold. Okay, so you can click this in the home tab. Click this general arrow and then more number formulas. Okay, from this in the number tab, click the custom. So we will format this cell as a custom format, and then click the title. Click the type. Okay, from this type, enter double quotes units sold and double quotes. Okay, so this cell in I5 will display units sold. Units sold. But actually the value of this I5 is the net income. Okay, net income. The value in B27. Okay. All right, and the B27 comes from what? These two, right? And these two comes from, one of them comes from here, and this one comes from other place. And then since this one comes from B7, and B7 comes from these two, so B7, in order to get the B7 value, we need these two values. Okay, these two values, and these two values are given here, here, and here. So two values are given. So in this case, we can use two variable data table. So select I5 to N13, I5 to N13. And then to create a two variable data table, go to the data tab, what if analysis arrow, data table, and then we will enter the cell for these two combo box. So raw income, so raw input cell. So the values in this row, 800, 900, 1000, all these values are raw input cell, right? Raw input cell, and this raw input cell represents sales price. Actually, that sales price is this one, B6. Okay, so click B6 so that B6 goes here, and the column input cell is this one. This column input values are number of units sold, and this number of units sold they come from B5. Okay, so make sure B5 is in the column input cell, and B6 is in the row input cell, and then click OK. So once you click OK, then all these blank cells will be filled with the unit net incomes. This is net income. Bingo. Alright, so this is the two variable data table. Okay, number 9. Okay, we will create a chart, same as the previous one, scatter chart with straight line. So select the range I6 to N13. Okay, should we select I6 to N13? Okay, and then insert tab, scatter, select the scatter with straight lines. Okay, and then change the title to break even analysis. Okay, change the name of each of the 5. So we have a series 1, 2, 3, or 5. So click this series, and then here it is in the design tab. Click select data. So we can edit the name of each series. So click the first one and then edit. Click edit. So the series name is, okay, this is based on 800. So type 800. Okay, and then select the second series and then edit. So that is for 900. So type 900. Okay. Series 3. Then $400, 1000, right? 1000. Okay. Next, edit $1100. Then finally select series 5, edit, and then $1200. Okay. So we just changed the name of this series. Click OK. Move the chart legend. Okay, move the chart legend to the right of the chart. So go to the Add Chart Element button, the legend to the right. Okay, change the scale. So the scale is this one. So double click, just click so that you select this horizontal range. Okay, and then double click it so that you will see. So we have this pane. Alright, and then on the right side, click this one so that we can change the bound and the number of units to show. Okay, so change the scale starting from 0 to 2000. So 0 to 2000, so maximum should be 2000. And the major unit is 500. So this is 500, that is correct. So leave it and then close. Then move this one to I14 to N24. Okay, so that's number 10. Oh, sorry, this is N27, right? N27. All right. Okay, next number 10. Okay, number 10 is about the second definition, second concept, scenario manager. Scenario. Okay, let's try number 10. Okay, so we will use a scenario manager. So and then enter this data. So let me make it a little bit wider so that we can see the whole table. Okay. So the scenarios here. Click in the data tab. What if? Click any place in the cell. Click any place in the the empty cell, so that we can see this what if analysis arrow. And then here is scenario manager. So click this scenario manager. Then we can create scenarios. So there are 3 scenarios. Okay, they are these 3. Okay, status Q0, increased production, decreased production. There are 3 scenarios. So from here, click add so that we can add one scenario. So the scenario name is status Q0. and then we will change, okay, the change in cell. Okay, so change in cells are, all these input values. So unit sold, so let me scroll to the left. So why don't we select the unit sold and click this, comma, sales price. So the sales price is, where's the sales price? I'm sorry, unit sold, sorry. The unit sold is this one. So, okay, remove this one, remove this. Let's start it over. So select this two cells, unit sold, and then sales price. The next is sales and benefit. So comma, press comma, and then here is sales, benefit, shipping, stocking, miscellaneous. So we selected all these 4 and 5, 6. Right? We selected all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells from here, and then click OK. Alright. So we selected 6 cells, right? 6 cells. So there are 6 of them. Oh, there are 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 of them. So for this, we will enter all this information. So the first one is 1,200. The second, okay, so make sure these numbers is correct. Actually, these numbers are same as the numbers we already here. So 1,500, 1,200, 900, 175,000, 72,000, 65,000, and miscellaneous is 55,000. Okay, so we have created one status quo. The next, add another one. So click add, and then the scenario name is increased production. So enter this name, and the changing cells is same as the previous one. So leave it, and then OK. And then let's enter these values. So the unit sold is 1,500. Tab. Sales price per unit is 800. Tab. Salaries and benefits 1,705,000. Shipping and distribution is 90,000. And stocking is 75,000. Tab key 70,000. Okay, click add, so that we can add another one, the last one. So scenario name is this decreased production. Okay, and then others are remains the same. Okay, and then let's enter these values. So the first unit sold is 1,000. 950, 145,000. Shipping is 60,000. Stocking is 55,000. Miscellaneous is 40,000. So whenever you complete entering the data, press the tab key, so it goes to the next cell. Okay, click OK. So we just created 3 different scenarios, and each scenario has different values of this input. Okay, that's number 10. Okay, number 11, let's squeeze this one to the right. Okay, create a scenario summary report. So create a summary report, so click this summary. And then we will create a summary, a scenario summary. The result will be, okay, actually the result should be the net income, right? Net income. Okay, let me see this one. Okay, the create a scenario summary report of the 3 scenarios, displaying their impact on total revenue. So let's move this one, total revenue. So total revenue is B25, 26, and 27. So total revenue, total expense, and income, net income. So the result cell will be these three. Okay, so this is how you can do it. So click this empty cell and then drag and drop, drag it for these three cells. Alright, and then click OK. Alright, so this one just created the result for these three outputs using these three inputs. And these three inputs are already in the three different scenarios. So for each scenario, with this input values, we got these output values. Okay, so this is really convenient because instead of changing these values, whenever we update it, we have to change it, change the values again and again. So this takes time. So we can set a scenario, based on, different number of inputs so that we get outputs by just clicking one button so that we have all these outputs. Okay, so this is the result of the summary of the scenario of these three scenarios. Okay, so now let's move this worksheet directly after the income. So click this and then drag it right after the income statement. Alright, the number 12. Create a scenario pivot table. Okay, so click the income statement worksheet. Okay, go to what if analysis again and scenario manager. Okay, in this case, we will, not scenario manager. Okay, sorry, and then click the summary. So in this summary, we can create pivot table. Okay, so from this one, click the pivot table, and everything is unchanged, and then click OK. So this is the pivot table. Okay, then from this pivot table, we will apply this format. Okay, display the total revenue, total expense, net income in currency style. So select these numbers. Select the range of these numbers, and then we will change to currency. So click the Home tab, and then general arrow. The number format will be currency. So click this one. So $sign goes right before the numbers. And then with no decimal places, so click this decrease decimal twice so that there's no decimal places left. And then the negative value will be in red enclosed within parentheses. Okay, so click the arrow again and then go all the way down, more number formats. So as you see this, for the currency, okay, these are the negative numbers. So right now the negative number has a negative sign here, but actually we want to change it to red and enclosed within the parentheses. So select the last one and then click OK. So as you see this is the negative number. Okay, red with within the parentheses indicates this is the negative value. Okay, and then enter the scenario. Okay, so click this. So remove the filter from the pivot. So we have a one in this filters area. So click this and then move it up. Move it up so that we can just remove it. Or you can click the arrow. Click the arrow. Arrow was over here. And then remove. Okay, and A1, cell A1, enter scenario report. Okay, and then click other cell and then click A1 again. So from this, okay, we'll change the cell style. Okay, click the cell styles arrow, select title. Okay, and then let's try number 13. Okay, click any place in the pivot chart, pivot table, and then in the insert tab, click the insert tab, and then select this, click this pivot chart. So from this pivot chart, we will create a combination chart. So click the combo, and the net income, the third one. So this is net income. So net income will be secondary axis. So we have another axis on the right, and these values represent the net income. So click OK. All right, and then move this one A8 to, so move it to A8 to D20, and then remove the field button. So right click on any field button, and then select hide all field button. Okay, now move the scenario pivot table worksheet after the scenario summary. So shift, okay, let me scroll this one a little bit to the right, close this. So click this scenario pivot table and then drag it right after scenario summary, so that you see the little triangle, then release. Okay, number 15. Okay, the product line worksheet. So click the product line worksheet, and then let me squeeze this. Okay, so from this one, we will use a solver. Okay, solver, but actually the solver should be in the data tab and on the right side here. So if you don't have this solver, then we can add this one. So if you don't have this solver on the right side in the analyze group, okay, go to the file tab, and then options, click options, and click this add-in, and then all the way down here is Excel add-ins, and then click go. So make sure this Excel add-ins. Okay, so make sure this is Excel add-ins, and then click go. So from here, from these four add-ins, select the last one. Okay, solver add-in should be checked, and then click OK. Then you will have this solver ribbon on this side. Okay, so this is the one that we're going to use for this number 15. All right. Okay. All right, so we will use this solver. So click this solver like this. And then from this solver, what we do is we will follow this one. Okay, now we will reduce maximize the value in cell E24. Cell E24 is this one, cell E24. So cell objective, click the cell objective box, and then click E24. So we want to maximize, so here it is, we want to maximize the value in E24 by changing, so click this by changing variable. This will be B11 to E11. Okay, so click this one. So we want to, so this will automatically change the values from B11 to E11. So by changing these values, this will calculate the maximum value of E24. Okay. All right, so make sure you type correctly, selected the cells for this. All right, use this one. Okay, and then Okay, for this we will also, okay, in order to get the maximum value of this E24, we need some constraints, and these constraints will be this ABCD. So we will add a constraint, so click add button. So the first one is the total mountain bikes produced and sold as indicated in cell C19. So cell C19, so click for the cell reference, click C19. Okay, C19 is this one. So this one, it has to be, must be exactly 5,000. So click this center arrow, select equal sign, and the constraint value is 5,000. Okay, so this is constraint for this letter A. Then for the letter B, add, click add. So we will add another constraint, that is, okay, the company needs to produce 1,000 or more of each model type. So the values in the range B11 to E11. So for these references, select B11 to E11, and that has to be, must be at least 1,000. So it should be less than or equal to, so leave it as less than or equal to. The constraint is 1,000. Okay, and then add. So the constraint for C is the values in B11 to E11. So select, okay, for the first box, select B11 to E11, and they have to be integers. So click the arrow, the center arrow, and then select int. Int means integer. So this value has to be integer, and then click add. Okay, for number D, okay, the values in the range J28 to J46. J28 to J46 is, okay, so it should be this one. J26, 28, this J28, right? So all the way down to 46. So that one goes to in this box. So they have to be, okay, it must be greater than or equal to 0. So make sure this is greater than, select greater than or equal to, enter 0. Okay, that's the constraint for letter D, and then click OK. So all these 4 constraints are added and then displayed like this. Okay, and then next, number 16. Save the solver model you just created to range 827 to 834. Okay, this means, okay, we will do this load, load and save. Okay, click this load and save, and then move it to, and then select the range 837. Here, this one, number 16, right? 827 to 34. So this is predefined, columns. So this one goes here, and then click save. So some, values are listed like this. Okay, and then click close. All right. Okay, number 17. Okay, change the values in B11 to E11 with 1,000 units. So type 1,000, type 1,000, happy 1,000, happy 1,000. So based on this information, the values, this data, the output, changes. Okay, and then return, rerun the solver. So the solver is in data tab, solver. Okay, since we enter new data, so from here we can load and save it again. Oh, not yet. Okay, to find the product mix that minimize the total material cost in cell 21. So the set objective is now cell C21. So make sure this one should be changed to C21. Okay, click C21. So the set object box should contain C21 and we want to minimize it. So click min. Okay. And then set the solver model to range this. So click the load and save. And then this range should be A37 to A44. So similarly, this information will be filled in this blank. And then click save. Okay, and then click close. Alright, number 19. Okay, number 19 is restore the values in the range B11 to E11 to 1000 units of each model. Okay, and then we'll do the solver again. Click the solver, and then this time the set objective should be now E24. Okay, now go back to E24. Okay, we are doing number 19. Number 19. So make sure this is E24 and go back to the maximum value. Okay, and then create an answer report. Okay, run solver. So in this case, okay, from this, click solve. Oh, we got an error. Okay, let me check what happened. Okay, I think I found the error. So in this case, click OK. Okay, click the solver again. And the constraint is now wrong because the constraint has to be, okay, this one B11 to E11 must be at least 1000, right? So it's got to be greater than or equal to 0, but less than or equal to 0. So let's delete this one and then add it again. So let's add the constraints for letter B. So select B11 to E11 and this one has to be greater than or equal to 1000. Okay, 1000. So click OK. So we have the right information. Okay, then from here, number 19 is click solve. All right, so it's running now. It's running. Where is it? Okay, like this. All right, then here is everything's fine. So click answer. So we will create an answer for this report. So make sure answer. Select this answer, and then click OK. Okay, let's put for this one, say number 19, right? Wait a minute. Well, look at this. Okay, let's do a cancel because we want to enter 1000 for this. So make sure these are all 1000. Okay, make sure these values are 1000. Then click solver and then solve. Click solve. So make sure to click this answer. So we run the solver. Okay, create an answer report. So select this one with outline enabled. So click this answer. So this is enabled, and then put the check mark on the outline report. All right, and then click OK. Then this will create a just created answer report number 1. So this is the result of this solver, and then move it to move the answer report 1 worksheet right after the product line. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like that's it. So for this exercise, we created these two tables using one variable data table and two variable data table, and then create a chart. And this is scenario, and then pivot table for this product line. We did various things using solver, right? And then this is the report of the solver. Okay, so the result should be something like this. Looks like this.